I think if I were Trump's press secretary, the one thing I would not want to be is blindsided and surprised. And that's why I would never be Trump's press secretary.
I know you're not a spokesman for the conservative movement as a whole, but do you think conservatives maybe had some branding issues over the years that
Sure.
I think actually are melting away right now? I mean, I think I'm probably evidence of it. You know, when I go and you guys are all nice to me and I can talk and debate and all that good stuff. But that for a long time, maybe just the word conservative, it sounds kind of stodgy and old, and it's like, why would a young person want to be conservative? That actually, some of that's actually changing right now?
Absolutely. But everything cycles through the decades. National Review for me is, my dad, I think, was a subscriber since I was a little kid. I think he voted for Goldwater. I believe that's right. And so I just grew up in that world on a ranch, and individual responsibility and states' rights, that was super important to all of us. But certainly things have changed. For example, I think conservatives for a long time were considered people who were against the gay rights movement, who were against gay marriage. And over time, and not that long a time, if you think about it in history, over time, that melted away. And so that, I think, allowed for people to give conservatism a different look. But part of that is, what are you comparing it to? And if you are finding that you are out of sorts with some of the nonsense on the left, then you might take another look at conservatism. And you look at somebody like Dan Crenshaw, the congressman from Texas. I did his podcast this morning. He's a younger, different kind of conservative. And then you see him on Saturday Night Live responding with grace and humor to Pete Davidson, who had so casually attacked him, mocking his war injury. So there's a lot of great opportunity for conservatives, but it's a challenge, especially as you mentioned. There's all these different ways to communicate now. So how do you get to your ideas to be persuasive for a larger amount of people, especially younger people? That's a challenge, but I think it's going better than some in the media might think it is.
Huh, interesting. All right, now I'm going to ask you to put the press secretary cap on. So
okay.
I'll give you two things here. One, if you were Trump's press secretary, would you want more responsibility and want him to rein it in a little bit? And two, if you were Biden's press secretary, would you want him doing these live streams that are, in my humble opinion, coming off pretty terribly?
I think if I were Trump's press secretary, the one thing I would not want to be is blindsided and surprised. And that's why I would never be Trump's press secretary. But I already had that job. They're never going to ask me. But, I think that it's incredibly difficult to think about knowing an answer at 11 o'clock, giving that answer at 12 o'clock, and having it undermined at 12:06 p.m. But that is how he operates. For some people love it. Some people think it's horrible. The Biden question is a little bit more difficult. I don't know what I would do. They're in a real fix right now because Joe Biden is now the presumptive nominee. He's gotten no bang for that buck after Bernie Sanders dropped out. Everybody's sort of like, yeah, okay. Then Biden says, I'm going to start my VP search. And we're like, oh, okay, well, there's about 10 women that you might consider. So, oh, well. I mean, people are just so zeroed in on, appropriately so, the health of the nation and the economic health of the nation. And I think that if Biden were to come out and push too hard against President Trump right now and criticize the commander-in-chief in the time of a major, not just a domestic crisis, a global crisis, it would look like he was rooting for failure for the country. So he's got to pick his spots very carefully and sharply. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that.
Do you sense, though, that some in the media are rooting for the collapse of the economy, and just that they view this as, oh, we didn't get Trump on Russia, we didn't get Trump on Ukraine, impeachment, blah,
I don't
blah,
think
blah.
so.
That this, no. You don't think so? Huh.
No, I don't. I don't. I mean, I consume a ton of news. I'm not naive to the biases, but there's a lot of problems out there. I mean, I just like the food lines. It's just the video you can see from overhead, a 3-mile long car line to get food in Miami, a 6-mile long car line to get food in San Antonio. I mean, those are just facts. Those are happening. And I don't think that they root for the failure. They might root for President Trump to lose, but I don't think that they root for failure for people. I really don't.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, I see some people that are pretty mainstream voices that it's almost like they just want this thing to continue.
Well, I mean, that was true
maybe,
during the financial crisis of 2008, right? They were like, oh, now. But it was like, well, if you didn't shore up the banks and you ended up with something worse than the Great Depression, what would have been the better choice? And again, presidents can't worry about that. President Trump has to, again, lift his gaze and not worry about the headline of the day. Lift his gaze, look out. People are going to judge this for years and years and years. Forget about what they're going to say within the next 24 hours. Are you making the best decisions with the information you have at the time on behalf of the nation? And can you defend that decision? Then that's the decision you should make. You should defend it as much as you can and promote it, whatever you need to do. But I wouldn't get so mired in, oh, they're against me, because I think self-pity in politics is pretty pathetic and pitiful. And you just need to just have to try harder to win the arguments. It just takes a lot more effort. That's why I always tell companies, if you think you're going to have some problems, always hire somebody that's worked in Republican politics or communications, because guaranteed they've had to work harder.
They've been through it once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that Trump, though, sort of needs that in a way? Like, it's almost like him and Jim Acosta are just like a match made in hell sort of thing. Like, CNN needs it for eyeballs and Trump needs it because that's like sort of what gives him juice. So they're playing this dance. It's a symbiotic relationship. Yeah.
Yep. The symbiotic relationship. They feed off of each other. But I was watching a press conference recently, and I heard myself saying, "That's a ridiculous question. That's a dumb question. But look, our founding fathers were really, really brilliant. And the First Amendment was first for a reason, because it's most important. So we have to safeguard it. And if they want to ask stupid questions, so be it."
All right, I got 2 more for you, and then I know you got to go do the 5 because you do have a day job too.
I do.
So one, I've been joking for about 2 years. People always say to me, Dave, are you going to get into politics? And I always say no, but if Ben Shapiro becomes president, I will be his press secretary. Is that a crazy thing for me to say? Do you think that's a crazy thing?
I've never said this out loud, but I told Ben Shapiro, if he becomes president, I would come be his chief of staff.
Well, I would be thrilled to work with you, so maybe we are putting the pieces together here.
Oh, yeah, this could come back to bite us both, We're going to be in those jobs, in the soup.
Just see, you thought you were going to get out, and they pull you right back in.
That's so funny. I never said that out loud, but it's true.
All right, so that aside, now really the most important thing, where is Jasper? And tell us about Jasper, and let's see Jasper.
So Jasper is 8 years old. He is here. Jasper, hey, can you come here? Come.
Clyde always gets shy when I'm on your show, so let's see if Jasper can show him up a little bit.
So Jasper's been on TV a lot since he was a kid. Come on, since he was a kid. Since he was born. Come up, say hi to your people. Come on. Up, there we go. This is Jasper.
Oh, look at this.
There you go.
Look, wait, what? No, you're not going to do it? Come on. Look at Jasper. He's gorgeous. He's 8 years old.
Look at how he
Come on, Clyde. What are you doing?
He even knows where. Oh, here's Clyde.
Yeah, Clyde's lazy. Come on. There we go. All right, we're half there.
One of the things I've found, Dave, is that that dogs are a great equalizer. There's no politics at the dog park for me. We all love our dogs, and they give us a lot of joy. And whatever love you give them, you get back 5 times in return. I'm so glad that you two plunged back in and rescued Clyde. It makes me happy for you and your household, and for Clyde in particular.
And I told you, literally, I had him it was like the second day I had him, and I'm walking him down the street, and this guy, my neighbor for years, who I've seen for years but never said hello to, he goes, "Oh, that's Clyde. I just saw him on Dana Perino's show." So we're making the world a better place.
Love that.
There you go.
I love that. I really
love
getting to know you.
Yeah, same here. Well, thanks for doing good work in the midst of this craziness and showing people that you can be human and still like politics, and taking good care of Jasper. So have a great day. If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about politics instead of nonstop yelling, check out our politics playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.